the way that people feedback about it is that it's like our people. Like when you meet your people in your community, it's really like as soon as you get into those types of spaces, you kind of settle into it. And I think that's what's really unique is that we all have this commonality that threads everyone together, and it makes for a really unique experience in that regard too.
Yeah, that comes back to the soil thing. It's like when you're really interested in soil and food.
So to kick things off, imagine you're talking to someone who's never heard of the Underground Festival. How would you describe what it is to them?
Underground Festival is a festival of soil, and it's basically over 2 days, and we have talks and feasts and workshops out in the paddock, and it's for farmers and growers and anyone that is curious about where their food comes from to learn about how we can produce food in harmony with nature.
Beautiful. Chanelle, anything to add to that?
It's held at Greystone Winery in Waipara, which is an organic regenerative vineyard. So it's beautiful scene to have. And how many people? 500? At least 500 people a day.
Yeah,
we're expecting this year, which is up on 300, 350 last year.
Yeah. So we're aiming to go bigger, bolder, sunset, beers in the sunset, multi-species, pasture, demos, great food, barbecue, meat, everything.
Yeah, great vibes. It was an awesome couple of days last year, heaps of good energy going around. The food was awesome and a great bunch of speakers. So for those who aren't familiar with you both, can you please give a bit of an intro on who you are and a little bit about your background?
My name is Fran, and I am not a farmer myself, but I am living on a dairy farm in the Waikato. I grew up in Tokoroa, and my father was a dairy farmer, but most of my life I spent more interested in food and health and wellness. And while I was in the UK 10 years, I eventually got a bit disillusioned with the state of health and food and nutrition. And I went and studied healing nutrition, and that eventually led me to soil and connecting with a cohort of farmers who were doing really amazing things for the land and wanting to produce nutrient-dense food. And it was at a time when there was a lot of, angst, accusations of farmers being sort of anti-climate and everything. And I just saw there were these amazing stories out there of farmers doing really cool things on the ground, great for health and environment, and I wanted to help tell their stories. And so part of that, I started working on a regenerative farming festival in the UK and just saw how much that those festivals gave farmers a sense of feeling connected and a sense of inspiration and unity. And I wanted to, when I came back here, try and create something that would evoke the same feeling for people.
Awesome. And Chanelle?
I'm based in Central Otago. I've been involved in the agriculture sector for 20 years now and have lived on high country stations and properties all across New Zealand with my husband. We are now developing our own. After learning all these things with regenerative station transformations, we're now doing it for ourselves. And I work in the space of marketing comms around amplifying the regeneration. I have a background of, I started a group that has 20,000 rural women in it. And lots of interesting bits and pieces that traverse the agricultural space generally. And also building another business at the moment, which is a beast.
Now does so many things and lives in such a crazy, extreme environment. Like every time we're doing a call, I'm in the north in the Waikato in like a singlet and, nice calm.
And I'm under 9 inches of snow.
And it's just like trees going everywhere and it's always hectic.
Yeah, we live in the extreme of the extreme at altitude in Central Otago. So it's a ride. Yeah.
It absolutely is. And you both, to be fair, do quite a lot. You're just as busy, Fran, so don't undersell yourself there. So we've already kind of alluded to it, but what was the original spark behind Underground Festival?
It really, for me, what I love is seeing the magic that happens when you bring people together around soil and food. There's...
And understanding the relation between the two. Which is like not been understood properly or talked about for a long time.
And I think that there's just such a magic that happens when you get your hands in the soil, and coming from living in London in a city for 10 years and on a 10th floor of an apartment building during COVID, and desperately wanting, like, there was a community garden in the estate next to us, but which we weren't allowed to grow food in because it was for the estate only. But I just had this like pining for wanting to get my hands in the soil. And then I ended up volunteering down at a biodynamic farm. And yeah, just there's just this kind of magic that happens. And then yeah, you can see this appetite in people that once they connect to soil and nature, that more things start to unravel. So for me, not coming from farming, I could see that there's a growing interest in people wanting to connect around that. And I wanted to connect with the people who were growing my food as well. So I was gravitating toward these events where I would go and meet farmers and hear what they were doing. And every time I heard these stories about what these farmers are doing, it gave me a sense of hope of that, you know, we will be okay. And there is, like, the more that you know about positive things happening on the land, the more that I think your own internal anxiety can, yeah, no, I felt better about the world. And so for me personally, I wanted to create something that allowed more people to connect with farmers that are doing this great stuff. And also, having worked with the likes of Quorum Sense when I came back here and the regenerative farming community, I could really see that, yeah, there are so many great stories of what farmers are doing on the ground, and so much of the innovation, you know, on the ground is coming from farmers, which then the science looks into and starts to back up. It was like, we need to tell more of their stories and put them at the center of conversations around our food. Because even when I was working overseas and going to food summits and conferences, they were always indoors and it was never farmers on the panels. And it's like, how can we be talking about what's happening in our food system if we aren't actually hearing from the people that are growing it? So I think that's what's really powerful, is the more that we can hear from farmers and growers and food producers, then the more we can understand about our food system and actually maybe feel better about some of the change that is happening, some of the good stuff. So that's kind of it.
And when Fran came back to New Zealand, I had about 5 different people say, you need to meet Fran.
Yeah.
So we
Likewise.
organised a call. And I'd never run an event before like this. So I said to her right at the start, if you want to run an event like this, I will help you. And it was probably a whole year later, at least, before you're like, oh, I'm thinking about it. And I was like, I will do it. And it took her back and forth.
Yeah.
And
And
we
it
weren't
was,
like super keen at I think like just the enormity and the starting of something brand new. But the more you traverse the landscape, it was obvious that it was needed and timely.
yeah, and it was
Yeah.
quite hard to, like, it took a while to get my head around being away from New Zealand for so long. It took a while to get my head around the lay of the land here with the food system. Like, there's so much export and commodity model. It's so much of an export and commodity model that I was trying to kind of figure out, like, what are the pieces, or how does it all come together? Because I think, you know, what I worked on in the UK was a regenerative farming festival, and it's very arable based, but it did eventually bring in a lot of like chefs and nutritionists and politicians and everything to talk about food. But like, what's the starting point in Aotearoa? Like, what is our starting point, and what does our food community and farming community look like? And I really wanted to somehow bring in all different aspects of people from within the food system, but like Indigenous people in the Indigenous food and farming system, like large scale farming, commodity farming, but also small scale, because there's a lot of cross pollination that happens. Like, you can be talking about what you're doing in a vineyard to farm more in harmony with nature or do cover crops, whatever. And, you know, what's to say dairy farmers can't pick up something from what they're doing or learning or seeing? So it's kind of like, what does that look like to be able to bring all of those different groups together? And there's actually so much power in that, because there are an incredible amount of people doing cool stuff in New Zealand across all these different sectors. And we're really struggling to put together a program that, you know, really, yeah, brings,
We could probably fill
them
a week.
together.
No trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what's really prominent in the New Zealand agricultural landscape is everyone works in silos. Like, you're a dairy farmer or you're a viticulturist, but this is the one space where everyone can come and actually have that commonality and learn from each other, which is quite unique, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I really like that you guys have brought that. It's that melting pot of ideas and what can we take from each other. And something in my own work that I do is to make farmers realise, like, you don't have to peg yourself to the name of type of farmer you are. It's like, let's take all the good stuff that can work and apply it to your context. And I think this festival is a great way of sparking interest in different ways of doing things, or just like you say, how is my food grown? I didn't know there's so many interesting ways that you can actually grow nutrient-dense food.
Yeah.
And how can we diversify our farms so that they are multi-layered ecosystems that all support each other and benefit each other? Yeah.
So the festival's tagline is Aotearoa's New Zealand's Festival of Soil. So why the soil? And what does the soil represent to you?
So I mean, soil feels like a common ground for everybody because we all, to exist, we rely on the soil, but also anyone who grows food relies on the soil. And I guess it was kind of getting away from labels, regenerative, organic, biodynamic, or whatever, or conventional. And because I think what I've really noticed in Aotearoa is that people, farmers, they might be classed as conventional, but they might be doing things that could also be classed as regenerative. Or the farm that I'm on, we don't really use any chemicals or synthetic fertilizers or anything, but we're not organic, but we are trying some things that might be deemed regenerative. And so it's just trying to break away from labels and invite more people to feel like they belong.
And do you feel that the soil is kind of that medium that everyone can get around because of that?
Yeah, and I think there's almost been some sort of disconnection about the importance of soil when it comes to growth, and looking at how soil health impacts plant health, which is then animal health, human health, planetary health. It all starts there. And for so long, I feel like we've been focused on feeding the grass to grow, and having conversations that aren't necessarily soil centric. So yeah, it's a cool way to start conversations.
Yeah, and it's like the soil is so amazing. And really, like, we've got these two young women who are at Massey University, and they're doing, they're not farmers, but they're doing amazing things. Like one of the experiential sort of projects Zoe Bell has been working on is Sounds of the Underground. And so she's been going out and recording the sounds of the soil, and then created an experience with projections and visuals that actually kind of bring it all to life up above the ground. And so we have invited her to come along, and people are going to have the opportunity to put on the headset, go out there and listen to the sounds in the soil, which is, I think it's really exciting. Like, there's so much that we don't know about soil. And there was actually a really well-known astronomist. Is that his guy?
Yeah, it's Guy, yeah.
Yeah, that's his guy.
Astronomer?
Yeah. Astronomer. Yeah.
See, I'm more about soil than the sky. But he was an astronomer and then discovered how cool and how vast life is underground, that he is now a really renowned soil scientist. So I think it's just really unknown about how incredible life is underground, and there's actually so much we can explore.
Yeah.
And everybody can get behind it.
And often if you can't see, hear, feel, taste it, you don't value it as much. So it's bringing visibility to something that is microscopic as well.
Yeah. Then just something happens when you get your hands in the soil. Like, sometimes you just have a
there's studies about that, right? It's legit. Yeah, it's a thing.
You gotta get your hands in the garden, and like something will come to you, some kind of solution or idea or something. That's just something I've really learned later in life.
Yeah, I can confirm that I've learnt that as well. It seems to be when I'm out in nature, away from laptop and devices, that's when I have all my ideas and my brain functions better. But there's this thing that I always teach farmers when I'm doing workshops. When you smell the soil, we all know that inherently good smelling soil smell. So it's almost coded in our brain as humans. Like, we know what that is, and that's good, healthy soil that's going to translate to our own health. And I think that's such a cool thing. It's like that experience, and people have all know it, but you really smell that.
Intuition smashed out of us for the last 100 years, if not longer. And that bringing back intuition is a really interesting way of how we look at what our body and our brain really knows.
Yeah.
And farmers have incredible intuition when it comes to their land as well. Yeah. It's getting them to trust that and what's in their gut.
Totally. Trust themselves, not external.
Yeah, I really noticed when I met Scott and first went to his farm, was like how connected he was to that land. It was almost like there were roots in his gumboots as he was like walking along. Like, so I was like, I've never met someone that's like so grounded, but and he knows that land like every nook and cranny and blade of grass. Yeah, it is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And most farmers are like that, but I feel like they've lost a bit of confidence to trust their own decisions because there are so many people now involved in the business who they're putting their trust in.
Yeah.
So
And does the consumer understand that that's the length of farmers' passion and knowledge as well?
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I always I like when Nicole, was it Nicole that said around like finding your favorite spot on the farm and like taking off your gumboots and just like actually like just enjoying that spot.
that spot,
Got in
yeah.
Australia quite a lot called sit spot. Find your sit spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that's something I like to ask farmers as well. Like
Yeah.
if I'm working with them, and it's like, where's your favourite place on farm?
That's
and they all, that's quite a like, it opens up the conversation, and then you can ask them like why this is a favourite spot of
Yeah.
their farm, and then you'll also find the part that they don't like as well, and then you can dive into that. So it's a really great way to have a conversation because everyone knows they've got that special spot on their farm that means something to them really deeply, and it's like that's where their roots are within their farm on this planet. So it's pretty cool. In terms of, I guess, good spots, we've chosen Greystone again, here in the beautiful North Canterbury. How important is this place to, I guess, the festival's message that you're trying to get out there?
We are incredibly lucky to be at Greystone, which is a regenerative and organic vineyard in North Canterbury, just north of Christchurch. And it all came about through Nick Gill and Angela Clifford, the food farm. Nick Gill was the GM at Greystone, and I think that they got sick of me talking about wanting to do this event. It has to be on a farm, and I think he was like, okay, we've got a paddock in the middle of the vines, we think you can use that, like just do it. And so and I think what I love about it is that it is really an intersection between food and farming, and it is, it's a vineyard, but it's a working farm. They have sheep grazing, they do cover crops, they're farming grapes.
It's like an example of what's possible
Yeah.
in a fully enclosed system. There's sheep in the vines as well. They have pigs. There's all sorts of animals that actually integrate into it as well. So they're looking at how the ecosystem functions holistically.
They do wild fermentation, wild yeast they use, and you're going right from soil to plate basically with the restaurant, and they really champion all local producers, and
and they're so supportive.
they're
They're such a lovely team, and like everything we suggest, they just say yes.
Yeah, we are really
so
lucky.
good.
They are really the dream. Like and what's fantastic, it's always been a prerequisite that it has to be on a farm, because the experience is that we are the festival is where it's on the land, and it's it's where our food comes from, and that is where farmers and growers feel most comfortable, is out on the land. So, and what a great place to learn about things and connect with other people out in nature. And we're really close to a main centre, which is a big thing. So it's a pretty beautiful place to wander and hang out. And you can camp there as well. We're camping next to a stream. People bring their camper vans and their caravans.
And we know in February in Canterbury, in North Canterbury, it's going to be hot and sunny, so the weather's going to be good too.
The weather is definitely, we're manifesting that.
We had the most incredible 10-minute thunderstorm just before we opened the doors last year. And it just thundered down. I've never heard anything like it. And then it just cleared. And the dates couldn't be more perfect after
It was nail bite.
It was like a real, clean up everything moment. It was good.
It was dramatic.
It was very dramatic.
Yeah. But
We'll order that again next year.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we were so lucky as well. We had Manawheno and Mania Cunningham came along, and we did a land walk up to the top of a point on a hill that looked out over the Waipara Valley, and he told stories of his ancestors, how they used to collect and gather food in the valley, and there's moments of just really connecting with the land in the area and what's come before us, and then how the land is stewarded now. And we were just so lucky with the weather this year, and we're going to do that again. Mania is coming back again to do that land walk, which is really special.
And that's that really beautiful moment for getting people to stop and just connect with where they are. I think it's like that sit spot, but it's getting to do it as a group and doing it and connecting, I think, is a really powerful just moment in time for a lot of people to start the year off as well, because we're in February and people are generally pretty busy. So it's like, let's stop and just see where we are, take in the beauty and recognise all that's gone before and all that's coming as well.
Yeah, and we want it to feel like you're not just going to a conference. You're actually, this is 2 days or 3 days people are taking to get off farm, which is really hard for people to do. So we want it to be something that is relaxing and social, and as well as, you know, being inspired by different speakers and things. So
There's also a lot of like the way that people feedback about it is that it's like our people. Like when you meet your people in your community, it's really like as soon as you get into those types of spaces, you kind of settle into it. And I think that's what's really unique, is that we all have this commonality that threads everyone together, and it makes for a really unique experience in that regard too.
yeah, that comes back to the soil thing. You know, it's like when you're really interested in soil and food, then you know that everybody there is going to be interested in soil and food. They're people that just they came by
It's a
themselves.
nice, it's like
Yeah.
a nice environment.
Yeah, and they walked
Lovely.
away and they'd made new friends.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Someone said like, "Oh, I didn't really connect with anyone until they sat down for lunch and just started talking to the people next to me." And it was like the whole world opened up, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I made these friends," and went. And it's that kind of feedback that
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is such an awesome experience. So as part of curating that, how do you go about, selecting speakers or exhibitors or creating these field experiences?
It's the hardest part. Not for lack of people, but for everyone wanting, like volunteering, people suggesting other people. It's massive. Like I think we had 42 speakers last year.
Yeah, every time we talk to people, they
Oh,
have
I've got no
ideas and
idea.
suggest other people, and we're like, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea."
I'm
How
pretty
can we
sure we
put
could
them
fill
in?
5 days from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
No trouble.
Yeah. So I
was
mean,
hard.
we really do need this festival to go for like a good 10 years because
Yeah.
we've got so much. Yeah. But I think I really like noticed when I came back that there is I think it's interesting in Aotearoa, like there has been a movement of organics and things. I feel like maybe it's been seen as a little bit on the fringes, but there are people with this and 40 years of doing this, and we're coming to a stage where people are getting really interested. And well, how do we hold on to all of this or recognize and acknowledge all of these learnings and experiences of these people? So it's also a part of this event is about sharing that knowledge or giving those people the recognition too that they probably deserve. So yeah, there are people like like Steve Erickson's going to be coming along and talking about managing farm energetics, and he's obviously massive into compost as well from Cow Springs. But we're trying to do like different pathways, really, aren't we? Because we know there's going to be people coming from different, whether they're sort of large scale commodity farming or
Market garden or
market gardeners, small scale food producers.
chefs and things like that.
Yeah, chefs
Yeah.
and Indigenous food producers. So what we try and do is create a bit of a pathway so that if someone is coming with an interest in, say, Hua Parakore or Māori Soil Health Framework, that there are a few sessions that they could go to that link to that, or if there's more around agroforestry and farm planning and design, there's a few sessions that link to that. But then also, they might be like, oh, I might not usually be interested in Hua Parakore, but because I'm here, I might just go to that session, and you never know, they might pick up something, a new appreciation for something else or something different.
It's also important to bring people from overseas as well. We're focusing as many as New Zealand farmers being the key people, but bringing in some international knowledge is really fantastic to be able to broaden horizons, talk to similar but different issues. So this year we've got John Chester coming. He is the documentary filmmaker and founder of The Biggest Little Farm in the US. And we also have Darren Doherty coming from Australia, who's founded Regrarians. And
Farm planning and design.
Yeah. And so those two people alone are going to be incredible, and I think are really big draw cards, which helps set the scene of the rest of the program as well. And then we also integrate them through different panels so that they're sitting there talking with local speakers.
Yeah, like international kind of viewpoints and what they're seeing around the world, and then so how do we bring that back to our local context? And there's definitely themes of biodiversity this year, how food production and nature can coexist in the same space, like how can we create more life. So there's going to be stuff around like dung beetles and beneficial insects and pollinators, moths and butterflies. Will be natural beekeeping is going to be a pretty cool session as well.
Plenty of dung beetles.
Yeah, lots of dung beetles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and lots about trees, and design and agroforestry, and more sort of this year, based on feedback from last year, we had people sort of really wanted more deep dives and practical sessions. So we've definitely curated the program to be more in line with that. So there might be like some inspirational talks on like this is what's possible in agroforestry in New Zealand, and then sessions with like Darren Doherty on okay, so if you're going to start looking at planning and designing your own landscape with trees, what do you need to be thinking about? And we'll break it up into different scenarios that are we'll do like breakout sessions so people can actually workshop stuff around that. So they can literally take home ideas to apply to their own property. And that doesn't matter whether you're a tiny landholder to huge, massive scale. So yeah, I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah. We also have a little bit of the panel kind of format for different conversations, and then as much time outside as possible. Really.
Yeah, and that beautiful sunny weather.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you did a really good job last year of mixing it up with the outside inside sessions, and you could see the farmers really gravitate to the outside practical stuff as well at certain times.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a soil trench everyone gets really enjoyed.
Yeah, we're still gonna have a soil trench. I think we're gonna throw you in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big
Well,
stress.
I could walk gently into it.
Yeah, we might sort of bury you
Jump in
in
it.
soil.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're definitely going to do that again. And yeah, so we kind of have 3 sessions running concurrently, but we are going to be filming sessions this year so that I know people are a bit like, oh, I didn't get to everything I wanted to, but yeah, we will record it.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest difficulty is picking the sessions because there's so many on at the same time that are just such high value and really great speakers because you've done a really good job of that. Another really key part of the festival that obviously I'm a big fan of is the food. You guys did a really good job of curating who was there and that final feast. You really did a good job of basically that food to plate or how it's grown. Is that something that you tried to bring through with the people that you select to be as vendors?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Food by Fire are local guys down here in North Canterbury. I mean, we really want to be championing North Canterbury food and wine because it is actually a really epic region for food and wine. I think like one of the most underrated. And so yeah, the Food by Fire guys, they do like Asado barbecue, they do the base pizza truck, and they always use really good local and suppliers. So like Waka Farms pork, and they use local grains, and and they'll work with kind of any meat supplier that we ask them to. And they're just really collaborative. And the same with the part of Brew Moon beer, which is a local brewery. And yeah, we gave them some of Simon Osborne's Regen barley last year, and they brewed a beer for us made out of that. So they're really collaborative. And actually, we did have other beer there too of theirs, but it was Simon's that went down
And did.
best.
Yeah,
So
it was
Regen beer,
good.
I think it's the thing. But yeah, we got 2 kegs of it, and it was gone by the end. So we're probably going to do that again.
Maybe 3 kegs. No, like we should do 3 kegs.
Oh yeah, we probably should
Maybe
do more. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're doubling in size, you're going to need double the amount of kegs at least.
That's true.
It was definitely beer drinking weather.
Yeah.
And it
We
was
also have coffee.
in the
good
embassy
coffee.
coffee. Yeah, and Bellbird Bakery as well. They use all New Zealand grains. So we're really trying to be so there's a new New Zealand grains mark, which is a sort of mark that goes on foods that say the grains in this food product is 80% New Zealand grown. And so we are trying to be a New Zealand grown grains event where all the grains through the bread and etc. are New Zealand grown. So we're supporting New Zealand farmers. So the whole strategy behind the food is to really support and promote producers and farmers, but also to inspire farmers and producers that there is an appetite for food that is produced in this way. And that's definitely something that I noticed when I worked on the festival in the UK. We did a full 48-hour fermented bread bakery on a farm, which was an absolute nightmare because it was like the height of summer and you're like proving doughs and everything. But we really wanted to show all the arable farmers that, hey, there is a real appetite because there's so many amazing bakeries in London that are using heritage grains and heritage flour. And so it's kind of like going both ways. It's like there's a real appetite for food that is produced in this way. People want to know where their food is coming from and that, they're using these ingredients. So keep growing it.
I think Bellbird Bakery is a draw card in itself. It's like a non-stop flow of pastries from noon till like from morning to night. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and also Greystone as well. So Cam is the head chef at Greystone, and yeah, like I said before, everything they're just so considered in the ingredients that they use, and it's part of the whole story. Like, I mean, we all love the food, right? Like that's what we're all here for, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have this real knack of making friends with chefs and people who can make great food.
Well-planned.
Yeah, and it's a gift in my life. I feel like I'm really not a good cook myself, but I managed to attract friends
Who
who
you
are
know,
great
not what
cooks.
you know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's great networking, I mean.
What was the question?
It was around, yeah, I think you covered it off pretty well there. And it's great to see the embodiment around that food. And I think it is inspiring for farmers to see that there are people at the other end that do really care about the way in which they grow and actually champion their stories as well. And that's what, like, I connect with that. I love Bellbird. I love when I go into their bakery that's just moved into my area and it says Canterbury locally grown. All the staff are real keen on like making sure you know that when you're buying a loaf there. And that just makes me want to come back. And they've got a line out the door because it's good quality and there's that story behind it.
Yeah, and we're also going to do some wild food like foraging,
Cool.
breakfast sort of experience, and the yogurt
From Aligned Dairies.
yeah, from the Aligned Dairies. We're going to have them there, and some Haraway oats, and yeah, we're going to like forage some amazing food from around the vineyard.
Awesome.
I'm not personally, because it might end
You'll
up.
poison us.
Yeah, but we've got some.
Carrotweed and fennel look quite similar when they're in full.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, that's
I think we're going to have fennel pollen sprinkled on our birch and muesli. And
Yeah.
I think that's one of the ideas.
yeah.
And local plums.
We're getting official people involved.
do that,
to
yeah.
You make it sound way
Great.
scary.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
risky. So, for anyone who's going to attend this festival for the first time, do you have any practical tips for them to get the most out of the festival?
Camp. You
Yeah,
should
come for
probably
2
camp.
days.
Like, I
Definitely
think
come for
camping
2
is a
days.
big part of it because it's what happens when you're walking to the showers in the morning or you're walking back at night.
You're
That's
going to the showers in the morning.
the showers. Okay, so for context here, this is not a keys in the bowl situation unless you want to make it, you don't curate your own experience, whatever. But where I was going with that is there's this bridge between like the festival site and the camping site.
Yeah.
And that it was when people were coming and going, everyone was standing on the damn bridge.
Yeah,
Like,
the
having
bridge
conversations
was,
the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's all those little pieces that is where a lot of the value I think is. So camping is highly recommended.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm staying in a bougie glamping tent, so I can say that with like a bit more.
Kind of the mattress
enthusiasm.
and duvet. You're under the duvet. Yeah.
Hey, but I don't have kids now, so
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
not.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely come for 2 days because it's the whole experience. Even though we are doing single day tickets as well, but
It's like round work availability that we have
Yeah.
feedback on, as opposed to wanting to be there for a day
yeah,
or two. Yeah,
because we're a midweek event. It's probably not everybody can get away for 2 days, so we've made it so you can get 1 day and 2 day tickets. But definitely come for the 2 days because there's a lot happening during the day. Like there's a lot of sessions on, and it is that opportunity to socialize. But yeah, just be prepared not to be able to get to everything that you want to get to, and just I think come with no expectations. I always think that's the best thing to do. And
one of the things that I would recommend, and you don't get this at every event, but you know, sometimes you go to an event and everyone's quite standoffish and they're talking to people that they know. This is not an event like that. Like to be able to just strike up a conversation with the person you've never met before, I think is where a lot of that gold comes from.
yeah,
And just being bold and just having.
And there's always
Stink,
Russell
yeah.
Heald. If you feel like you haven't spoken to anyone,
Yeah.
speak to Russell Heald because
Yeah.
every time I saw Russell, I think he was in like hour deep conversations with other farmers. that
There's
he'd never
often
met before.
if I knew someone who didn't know other people, there's those types of people I just point them in the way of, because I knew not only would they be able to hold a conversation, but they'd actually be able to give inspiration for that person and encourage them to go in a different pathway. So
Honestly, I saw
Yeah.
people were just in conversation for hours. The people that had never met before.
I was the one
Yeah.
with the fingers in the mouth trying to whistle to get people to move to their sessions because conversation was so good.
Yeah, we need a more official kind of
Foghorn?
yeah, or a
Town crier, cowbell.
We're not
Cowbell.
cowbells in the South Island apparently anymore.
What?
We keep winning, so it doesn't matter in Canterbury. So you can bring
Is
your
this
cow
a
down.
rugby-
As
Yeah.
the Waikato representative, I will be bringing a cowbell.
You bring a
down.
cowbell. I'm not
Yeah.
precious. It's either that or I'm abusively whistling at people, which is quite intense.
Yeah, so were they tips?
Yeah, absolutely. And hang out around
also-
the bridge if you want to meet
Yeah.
someone, because it's honestly every time you walk across that bridge, you're talking to someone.
Yeah, this is the meeting spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess for both of you, we've run it for 1 year now. What has been the most rewarding experience so far out of the first year of the festival?
We ran it together, and we like each other enough to run it a second time. That's quite good.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
good
we
start.
survived the first one. That was
Yeah.
that was pretty. I think the feedback.
Yeah.
The feedback. Oh, I think for me two things. One was the belief in from certain people, sponsors in particular, for the first one when they didn't really know. They hadn't seen me in action or us in action, and didn't quite know what we were proposing to deliver, but believed in it enough to back us because we
Huge
really,
amount of sponsorship.
yeah, like we really need that support to even just press go. You can't wait for ticket sales and things like that. So I think the support and the belief in us to create this has been huge from sponsors, especially like Biome Trust and Rangaroa Farms.
Yeah.
And also and Forum Sense. And then the feedback from people. Like I didn't realise that Jeremy Masters he was doing some filming for Nicole at the last event, and he was asking lots of people questions, and then he was also asking them like what they were getting out of the festival. And just when I went back and sort of they shared those interviews with me, I was like, oh, this is so cool. And the Quorum Sense podcast that they did, like they captured a whole lot of reflections of people on the ground, and it was just it was so clear that this is what people needed. And
Timing is perfect.
yeah, so that is really amazing. And we're always asking for feedback because that informs like how we'll continue to grow it. And the feedback was really lovely because the whole thing I got out of Groundswell and the reason I wanted to come do it here was because what it gave people by attending, how they felt invigorated when they went back to their farm and were carrying on the slog of the day to day. They felt inspired, they felt reconnected, and I got that feedback from farmers who had attended our event here as well. And people saying, keep going, keep doing it. That's the biggest thing
I
for me.
think it was Sam Lang and his thing that said, if you're not going to do it next year, I'll be protesting.
Yeah.
Like it was I think it was fascinating. Well, not fascinating. We got to the end for pack up and everything went so perfectly. Like there was not one issue, which seriously touch wood.
Yeah.
But honestly, it couldn't have been more perfect. Everything from the weather to the exhibitors to the food to the people, there was not one crisis, not one issue. It couldn't have been more perfect. Which it was almost like at the end I was waiting for something. I was like, it can't be this good, but it really was.
I was a bit nervous about. Yeah.
It was round 2.
It's going to be fun.
But no, it's great. We work together really well, and
it's been good fun.
I overthink things, and she's like, "Just get on with it, Fran. Just make it."
There's a yin and yang. It works really well.
Yeah.
Well, it has worked really well. It was extremely successful, I think. And I think everyone walked away feeling pretty invigorated, going back to whatever they were doing with their lives, whether it be farming, consulting, or whatever part of the industry they are. I think it's pretty cool. So how do you see this festival evolving going forward? Or how would you like to see it evolve?
What year are we going to have 1,000 people attending?
Yeah, well, as soon as possible, really. I like to sort of not get too far ahead of us too soon because I kind of want to just grow it organically. But I think there is real potential. I mean, I'm quite excited about the blend of the different aspects of growing food. Like we've got Toanfurt coming with their big agriculture sprayers, and like there's a lot of innovation happening in that space. Like there, and then we've got bringing huaparakore into like composting. So there's like really different. I guess it spans really differently. I would love to have a whole field of like all the machinery in this kind of regenerative space. So there's something for people that are just really into all of that, and there's something that is for people that are really into the food and they just really want to be all about that. And so there's so much scope to grow it because
and the location as well. Like if we're to stay at Grandstone, which is a good chance, like the site has so much potential to expand.
We're not limited by space.
No, but people willingness to get involved. Like you could probably, I don't know, I reckon we should do events all through the year in different ways. But I might break Fran if I say those types of things. But there's so much potential and opportunity, especially we're in a growth space. We're like riding this wave in New Zealand, I feel. So it's exciting. We're only at the small space, like stage of it.
We're only year 2. So we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But
whereas I'm like, let's take over. This is the yin and yang working again.
We do really want to there are incredible people to learn from that are doing amazing things, and I don't think there's anything else like this where it's a farming event where you can actually hear what other farmers are up to, and other food producers are up to, and then how chefs and people outside of farming are working with them to showcase what they're doing. So yeah, I think it's really unique
and it's interactive and conversational. Something that we might look to do this year is around like a unconference style conversation where there might be someone who leads it, but then it's actually more of a roundtable conversation because everyone in that room has their own experience and expertise. So how can we actually do it in a way that's slightly less formal, but becomes a really valuable conversation that brings different viewpoints and opportunities in? And I've seen that style work before, and it's really unique, and it brings people out who wouldn't usually put themselves in front of an audience, which is quite cool.
Yeah, because you could be sitting next to someone who's got just as much experience and knowledge as the person who's on stage, and it's like we don't just want it to be a place where people just get up on stage and just talk at people the whole time. It's like, how do we harness the experiences that everybody at the festival brings? So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's really cool trying to get everyone involved. And as you say, there's so many good conversations going on all around the place. It's hard enough to get people back in the tent festival. So if you can create those sessions where they can kind of keep that going, that'll be actually quite exciting and a big draw card, I think, as well. Especially if there's some topics that people are really wanting to chat about and get a kind of a scope on the whole community and how they're feeling.
Yeah, and I think just for anyone that is like, oh, it's in the South Island, I'm in the North Island, or it's like too far, it's worth travelling for because there are pockets of people all around the country doing similar things, and it really is so cool when they come together and meet others and form connections. And I know that there are farmers that are still in touch with farmers at the other end of the country after meeting it underground, and so I would highly recommend travelling.
There's a conversation I had recently with a regenerative farmer in Central Otago, and I said, are your neighbours, into this? Are they trying different things? And they said, no, not really. But our community isn't local. Our community is nationwide, and it's spread out, but it's still a community. So it's an interesting way of how you view and nourish community that's not necessarily at your back doorstep, but it's a smallish, largish, kind of strange shaped country, but we seem to make it work.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think in agriculture, the culture is the people in the community. And when we come together, it's a hell of a lot of fun. So there was people from all ends of the country last year. So there's definitely come stay on site. I missed out by not staying on site last year and I regret it. So I'm looking forward to staying this time. Got absolute FOMO when you're leaving, you're having these really good conversations and you're trying to leave the paddock and another person grabs you to have a conversation. It was a big regret of mine of last year's festival.
Yeah.
So I wrap up my podcast with 2 quick fire questions for you both. So the first one is what's the one thing that you would change about the agricultural industry?
It's a tricky one. Not being a farmer, I wouldn't want to sort of project anything out there. But I think being someone that is passionate about supporting local, being able to access local food and supporting local small-scale food producers. I would probably like to review the compliance costs and regulations that small-scale food producers incur versus export commodity. I think that probably needs change.
Absolutely.
I'm a bit cheeky in this space because I've been to hundreds, I feel, of, you're worried about where I'm going with this, agricultural conferences over the years, and every single one of them has said we need to collaborate more. So I spoke at an event with Colin actually earlier in the year, and something that was picked up from it was I said that if I had a hip flask and I took a drink every time someone said the word we need to collaborate more, I'd never make it to the end of a conference. So I think this is the regenerative space has a real opportunity here in true collaboration, not just talk, but like actually integrating silos and being able to collaborate across research, across just every piece of it really. And I'm excited for what that could look like because we have the opportunity to kind of reestablish what it means to be in an agricultural community and to work together nicely.
And I think underground is a great place to cultivate that collaboration. So, so the final question is, what is a force of nature to you?
I think everyone who are the type of people that would attend underground, for example, have the courage to be different in a world that is very black and white. They're happy to sit in the grey and the colours on the outside. And I think that makes me think that you could label them as a force of nature because they're willing to be different. And in a world of cookie cutter fashion, conversations, taglines, to step outside of that takes balls. And I love those people. And they're the people that I want to hang out with.
Nailed it. What she said, and I think actually when I think about it, the force of nature it sort of reminds me that nature is like bigger than us, but it also is us, and it will kind of always put us in our place. So yeah, probably
We can either work with it or work against it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, choose wisely.
Yeah.
So, for those listeners who want to connect with you both or find out more about the Underground Festival, where should they go?
Instagram, you'll find Underground Festival NZ or www.undergroundfestival.co.nz. You can find me, Chanelle.o'Sullivan, on Instagram, as well as a whole raft of other accounts.
You do have a lot. She's a lot of email accounts.
I
Yeah.
have so many emails.
Yeah. Underground Festival, and you can buy tickets on our website. You won't be able to get them anywhere else. And I do also have a Soil Sisters group on Instagram for any wahine interested in growing food. We have a Christchurch group and a Waikato group, and Fran Bailey PR is my Instagram. If you do want to follow me on there, it's mostly cow and cat content.
Yeah,
It really
it
is.
is.
Yeah.
It's great though.
Yeah.
You say you're not a farm person, but you are.
Spend a lot of time
I'm
farming
really,
on
I'm,
farm.
like,
Yeah.
I'm just there for the entertainment, even for the cows. Like they look at me sideways, and I was actually. Can I tell a story?
You can tell
I
a story
was,
if you want to finish.
Sent out to bring the cows, and I do like it when I'm given the opportunity to have a job. I take it very seriously, but then I get quite sidetracked, and I kind of like took the brake fence aside, and then the cows weren't moving; they were just still lying down chewing their cud. And so I took out my video, and I was like videoing for like Scott, be like, oh, they're not moving, they're not going anywhere. And then I sort of start videoing like their cute little haircuts and things. And then so I just left the gate open, the brake fence open, and I went back to Scott and I was like, oh, they weren't moving, they'll probably just walk over. And he was like, oh no, you need to go out there with intent. And you didn't have your gumboots on. You need to go out there with intent, have your gumboots on, you walk straight to the
You were
brake.
in jandals, weren't you?
My bun stains,
Yeah.
but they probably couldn't see them. And so you reel it up and then put it there, and then you like don't get your video out. You probably got your camera out and you started video.
I just started
And I was
posing.
like, well, how do you do that? The next time I went to get the cows, I was like so intent, and I was like, walk to them, come on girls, gate, right, go, and it all worked perfectly. So I'm learning.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The girls, they try. Yeah,
They just take advantage of you
around
because
me.
they're like, "Oh, it's just her."
Cows will do that too. Well, thank you very much for your time today, girls. It's been really fun to have you both on and have a chat about Underground. I'm really looking forward to this festival coming up next year.
Yeah, we can't wait to have you back.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we've got so many jobs lined up. It's
Yeah.
gonna be great.
I am worried.
Thanks, Conan. Thanks for having us.
All right.
Yeah.